Hello, hello. On today's show, we're going to show you our personal 10 favorite items in the latest previews guide, where everything will be available in June. Welcome to your favorite comics and collectibles information live stream. The preview by Xcellar Comics. Man, that was smooth. I will be one of your hosts today, Kevin. The other ones are right here. Mike's up first.
Hey,
man. And
it's
then
great.
Pat.
Hello, everybody.
Hey,
You can tell Karen's not here. See, that audience is rowdy as heck already. My God.
yeah. Rowdy.
Man, I might have to edit some of that already because it was such a nightmare. Was it a nightmare for you? Because it was a nightmare for me.
It's a little shaky.
Yeah.
Appreciate your honesty, Pat. Appreciate it. What were we gonna say, Mike?
Yeah, a little pitchy dog.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Well, as you mentioned during our pregame, Mike, my drinking habits might be affecting my second job. Okay, so anyway, that's what we're doing. So this is the April previews guide that's available. That's going to be available in June, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I was unsure when I was putting all this together. I was like, am I looking at the right month?
Well, you know, the other thing too is there was a few things that they're coming out. They're in the April's previews guide, but they're coming out in August. Did you see that? I have one at least, and then a couple that are July.
Yeah, there's no hard set rules, I don't think, these days.
Okay. They're just flying by the seat of their pants, kind of like this show.
Exactly.
Okay.
I use the solicitation as if it's solicited in April, doesn't matter if it comes out in November, at least put it on people's maps now. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. We're just trying to help people be aware that may not as be because I definitely wouldn't be the way I am if it weren't for you two.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff
you're always knowing about the future. What?
There's a lot of stuff that if we didn't do this, that I would miss, that we would all miss.
Yeah. And even though we do this and you guys have been doing this longer than me, we still miss stuff.
Still miss stuff. All the time.
All right, cool. So am I doing this first? Am I going first today?
That's the order.
Looks like it.
This one was super easy for me, and so this will be a quick one too for me to shake the bugs out here. I've got the King Spawn hardcover collection. This is collecting King Spawn 1 through 12. And I've talked about recently on the show, as well as just personally with y'all, that I'm trying to stay with main titles only now. But then I think it's been the toughest with Spawn to only stick to the main titles. especially since, Mike, you've started
Deadly Tales
reviewing, the Gunslinger on the regular show. But so as soon as I saw this, I was like, this is a perfect way for me to still only get singles, but then grab this. So this is available the June 11th. And I like the price of this too. It's only $29.99, and it's a hardcover. This is a great way for me to get all these books and have it displayed nicely on my bookshelf. So,
Yep.
Solves two problems: space, and I'm not collecting secondary titles. Anyway, that's why I got King Spawn.
I like that cover.
Yeah, it's awesome. The cover's awesome too. Yeah.
Who is King Spawn briefly?
I never actually got around to reading a King Spawn, so I can't even answer that question with any kind of definitive,
Yeah. It looks like Spawn there, but
yeah.
Well, I think it actually is Spawn, but he's become a king.
okay.
Like, the whole thing with Spawn is he was recruited by Satan or whoever, one of Satan's, what's his name? What's the big guy's name? I can't remember right now. But anyway, he was recruited. He's supposed to be the king of hell. That was kind of the king of all the minions of hell or whatever, so I'm assuming that's what it is. I don't know though.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but it actually is Spawn, like you said. So, all right, Mike, go ahead.
Wonder if they're going to do the same for Scorched and Gunslinger, because those spin-off titles or expansion titles, I guess they all came about at the same time. Obviously, I think this one was first, so it's probably hit that milestone first.
That'd be like I said, that's going to be a nice solution for me if that's the case. Yeah.
Very good. All right, I'm going to start off with Archie's Pal Jughead number 78. This is a facsimile, originally published in 1961. This comes out June 25th. Just a facsimile. It's got monsters on there: Frankenstein, Dracula. I think there's multiple stories in here, and it's just I think you could probably get average copies of the original for $20 or $30, but sometimes a little more difficult to read. So pick up the facsimile for. It's not falling apart. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's me and Tyler were actually having a conversation about facsimiles not too long ago. That sometimes it seems kind of odd, the books that they choose to make a facsimile of. Not saying that this is one of them. You just put me in mind of this with your saying that you could still get the original fairly cheaply. But it was like an old random X-Men.
Yeah.
They made a facsimile of that. There's no events. It's not a key. It's not a crazy awesome cover. It's I can't remember which one it was, but he even pointed out to me to asking me to get to the bottom of it, and I couldn't figure it for the life of me. Have you guys noticed that at all with facsimiles? That some of them seem kind of random.
Yeah.
Like, do you know, Mike? What's the? Is this would this be called a key, or why they pick this issue?
I think it's just the solicitations is to celebrate halfway to Halloween with Jughead. I think it's just the monsters in it.
Oh, okay.
It's got it. And that's why I want it. But then I was
right. Yeah.
I was going to pre-order it, and then I looked up, I'm like, I could just get an original copy for $15-20. So,
but yeah, you got a good point though. Just getting a facsimile, then it's not old, and then you can bang it up and not feel bad about it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. That's
funny the way you said that. Celebrating halfway to Halloween. Is that where we are? We're celebrating halfway to Halloween. Is that the thing?
Already.
That's funny. All right. Anyway, hold on a second. That was funny. Thanks.
Sometimes you have to prod that audience. You have to.
Yeah. All right, Pat, what you got?
My first is a collected edition of Absolute Wonder Woman. This is volume 1, The Last Amazon. This is my favorite Absolute book. Surprisingly, especially because I read the first issue, I was kind of like, but it really grew on me quickly. It's written by Kelly Thompson, art by Hayden Sherman, who I was not familiar with previously to this book. But he's got an odd quirkiness to him that I really am enjoying. I like the design of Wonder Woman. I like that the skeletal Pegasus that she rides. It's really cool. It's 25. This is interesting because they're doing the absolutes. They're soliciting the hardcover and the soft cover at the same time. The hardcover is $25 retail, and the trade paperback's $18. This collects 1 through 7, 176 pages. Like I said, if you this goes for me, I am definitely not the world's biggest Wonder Woman fan, but I am, like I said, really digging this book and the take on the character. So yeah, I'll with the $25 retail price point, I think, as a matter of fact, I know somebody's giving a really good discount on this through pre-ordering. So I think I'll probably be picking this up.
Nice. I figured I wanted to project Karen there because I forgot to mention she's not here today, but she would have definitely clapped when she saw this. So,
were you getting the singles already, Pat?
Yes.
Easier to reread with the trade.
Yeah, the only thing there is it's only 1 through 7. I'm like, does 1 through 7 warrant me buying a hardcover? Maybe I should wait till they get to the first 12, 24 issues. I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Mike, I think I asked you this once before. That makes me think about conversation we had about The Walking Dead. Because this is back when I was trying to collect Walking Dead more too, and the Walking Dead, obviously, you get singles first, and then it came out. And what do they call those? Just the trades, right?
Yeah.
And then they had the compendium, which basically collected a lot of trade, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's like where do you start and where do you stop? You know what I mean? I guess. Sorry.
What I did was I started getting the singles in like issue 90, 91, something like that. So I got the first compendium.
Okay.
And then I got like the first couple trades that got me up to where I was. But then I kept on getting the trades, and then I got the second compendium. So I was getting all of it. That's where you stop.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
And then
they make it so rough.
I did stop though. I didn't get the third compendium, and I think I stopped the trades around 25 or 26. So I don't know.
That's how Mike from New York ended up where he is, I'm sure. Just getting the omnibus, just not get anything until it's in omnibus form, Yeah. All right, cool. You definitely making me want to read this, Pat. I can't remember what I saw when I was looking, but there's a couple cool absolute Wonder Woman things that I liked. So anyway, up next for me, again, I got another Spawn book. My favorite Spawn is actually Medieval Spawn. And this is, they had a Medieval Spawn from back in the day, and I've got a few of those. I'm still trying to fill all that in. I'm not actually sure how many of them there were. I think that was right about, a crazy time in my life. The break period when I wasn't collecting is when Medieval Spawn came out, and I always wanted to fill those in. But this is a new series. This is a 4-issue limited series. I love this cover. This is really cool. This is by Federico Sabatini. Isn't that a cool cover? Look how it's got that frame on the outside behind Spawn 2. I love those frame book covers like that. And this is an origin story, I guess. I'm guessing this is an origin story. This is an origin story. What I kind of said afterwards is, I guess back in the day, they didn't cover his origin. They just must have started out of the gate with him, being fully developed in some way. I don't know why they didn't tell an origin story back in the day. So this is The Origin of Medieval Swan. And this drops June 25th. And yeah, this is the the new and improved, 99 cover price for Spawn. Yeah. Oh, and this is issue number 3. I don't know how I missed this in the last 2 previous previews, but this is issue 3 that's coming out June 25th. So I think the first issue is coming out this month. If it hasn't already, might have dropped already, but
Might have to hurry to the store.
yeah, exactly. I haven't been to the store in I don't know, maybe a month now. Yeah.
Yeah, the Batman thing was the last time I was there. When I saw you.
Oh yeah, actually, that might be the last time I was there too. Yep.
Man,
What do you guys think of this cover?
I like it. It wouldn't make my pick 3.
It wouldn't. Dadgummit, that's a good standard to go by if a cover's good or not. Would it make Mike's pick 3? Would it make the pick 3? Would it make the running to be possible to be a top 3 cover of the week?
That's a good way to. It might depends on what else was.
Yeah, what else is out that week?
But yeah, I mean it's a cool cover. It doesn't stand out to me.
I love it. Pat, what about you? What do you think it's cool?
Sorry, Kevin. If Mike put it in his pick 3, I probably wouldn't vote for it.
Hey.
I'm not a fan of the armor. I like Todd's old version of the armor better, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it isn't McFarlane. It isn't McFarlane.
Right.
But I still think it's really cool, and I love the dragon. I love the frame. So anyway, I love this cover. So, Mike, you put this in the pick 3. I'm picking it. It's gonna be a pick. It's gonna be top 3 for me. Yeah.
This is gonna make it into pick 3. It just has to. Hopefully, I don't forget.
Yeah. All right, what do you got, Mike?
All right. Now this is one that I love this cover, and I don't think Kevin will very much. So news from the Fallout. It's a mini series, so it's 6 issues. This is from Chris Condon. He wrote That Texas Blood, and what's that book I reviewed the other day? Far down. I don't know. I can't even remember the name of it.
Far down below.
Yeah, far down below. Yeah.
Same writer here. And with artist Jeffrey Allen Love, I really like his style. They team up for a thrillingly dark sci-fi horror story, unlike any you've seen before. That's exciting. Something we haven't seen. In 1962 Nevada, a nuclear bomb test goes horribly awry and unleashes a contaminant into the atmosphere that turns people rotten. Otis Fallows, a private in the U.S. Army who is present for the test and is the only known survivor, flees the secret army base. So it sounds pretty cool, and I really like Jeffrey Allen Love's art style.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. That cover, like you said,
Yeah.
you nailed it, Mike. Yeah, looks like a newspaper cutout or something. Anyway, I did want to comment on your comment about how what they say this is a totally fresh story that's never been told before. A
thrillingly dark sci-fi story, unlike any you've seen before.
Unlike any we've seen before, that will be the surprising factor for me.
Right. It already sounds like stuff I've seen before. I'm interested. I've ordered it. I can't wait to read it. Like I said when I did my review last week, Chris Condon's name is kind of on my radar now. It's he's writing it. I'm going to check it out. But yeah, I think we've seen stuff like this before.
Right. That's a boast.
I mean, The Stand, Stephen King's The Stand, wasn't that something escaped from a military base, and the guy left and took it out? Maybe
I don't remember that, but it's just funny to make that. That's a bold claim. That's.
But maybe there's a twist. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe, who knows? Yeah. I
We'll
just
find
feel like
out.
this is one of those instances where, like Jennifer Lawrence, I saw in a video the other day, was claiming there were no female action stars before Hunger Games. You know, one of those situations.
Yeah.
Whoever made that statement is just mistaken,
Yeah.
unaware. Anyway, all right.
We'll find out.
Yeah,
June 5th.
I can't wait to hear about it.
I like the B cover there, the Jacob Phillips cover.
Yeah, I like that cover too. I think that's a double whammy with that first cover. Is I'm not really a fan of the art too much. I don't like the trade, and it's black and white. It's got nothing going for it. But the other one's at least got some color to it. Anyway,
He's also writing Ultimate Wolverine too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
oh really?
Yeah.
Which surprisingly, I'm not getting.
It's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Is it?
Yeah, I just read the 3rd issue last night or the night before.
I didn't like the way Wolverine looked.
Yeah, I think that's gonna change. You know,
Dang it!
he's
So
the
that-
winter. He's the Winter Soldier right now, and you know you could probably guess, and that seems to be the way they're going. Is he's gonna break free from the control of the Russians and.
Okay, so Wolverine's the Winter Soldier. It's not that
Correct.
Bucky the Winter Soldier is playing Wolverine.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Bucky's actually somebody else in this Ultimate Universe. So
Oh wow. Okay.
So the new character design is gonna be awesome, and then I'm gonna want it. I'm gonna be scrambling
Yeah.
for like the first 6 issues.
Yeah.
yeah, that could be
Great.
not just you, everybody else out there. Yeah.
I'm
maybe
gonna start now. I'm gonna
All right, Pat, what you got?
I have the new history of the DC Universe. This is by Mark Waid, Jerry Ordway, and Todd Knock. This is issue 1. I feel I didn't see confirmation of this, but I believe there's different artists on the subsequent issues. This is 1 of 4. If I didn't say that, I probably did. But here it's Jerry Ordway and Todd Knock on the first issue. This cover is cover A by Chris Samney. If there's one person, I guess, that's going to try to do a concise book about the history of DC, it would be Mark Waid. He knows he has this like encyclopedic knowledge of comics and DC. You know, they've tried time and time again to consolidate and refine and make sense of their continuity. Only to sort of take a step backwards, it seems, every once in a while. And I guess this is the attempt to try to once again bring everything together and make everything sort of make sense. So there's a couple different covers. Like I said, cover A, Wraparound by Chris. Here's a Dan Mora cover of Wonder Woman. The price from this one's $5.99. Where you go from there with these variants, I didn't bother to write them down because they're all over the place. You get the cardstock covers and you got the variants and blah blah blah. So there's the Dan Mora. This one is Ryan Sook and Art Germ. I think maybe one of them did the main art, the poster billboard art. I don't know exactly what was happening there. Kind of all looks like Ryan Sook to me. And one more, I think, is the Michael Cho H cover, I guess. So lots of cool covers for you if you want to take a pick. Yeah, we'll see. Sometimes I feel like these are sort of like, you know, not for everyone. But given the creative team, I may give it a whirl here. History of the DC Universe. The new history of the DC Universe. Excuse me.
That's actually a crossover for me. That was one of mine
Okay.
as well. The one thing I think maybe you didn't mention, unless I fell asleep while you're talking. Oh, that wasn't an indictment of you talking either, Pat.
I understand.
No, that was an indictment of how I don't get enough sleep. But anyway, this said Barry Allen actually narrates through this. Did you read that part?
I believe so. Yeah, I told through.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the first. Yeah.
And then I guess this issue, this is going to be, did you say it's going to be 4 issues, right? And then this covers up to the rise of the Justice Society.
Okay.
And then the only other thing was there was an art germ foil solicited that they didn't have a picture for. So I don't know whether it's going to be the same art germ that he. Well, they wouldn't have just credited him by himself. It was going to be the same as that other one, just in foil edition,
Mhm.
and they would have shown the picture too anyway. But so anyway, there's going to be an art germ foil that they didn't have a picture of. That I'd like to see that one. But yeah, I'd like to grab this. I love these.
Kev, I'm thinking just some advice. You should try to sleep until about 10:30.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
That's an inside joke.
We love inside jokes that no one can get on this show. Anyway, next up for me, I've got the worst bot ever. This is a Transformers book.
What?
This is a trade paperback. Well, it's not a trade paper. It's an original story. But I guess they're calling it a trade paperback. But trade paperbacks, you always are collections, right?
Yeah, I think it's people not knowing the correct terminology. So sounds like maybe it's just a graphic novel,
Right. That's what I was thinking.
or maybe it was it a digital first?
I didn't notice. I've started to pay more attention to reading that the way they term the digital first and first
Yeah.
time in print,
Right.
But I don't think that's the case here. This is just like you said, I would think it should just be called a graphic novel. But anyway, this guy's a Decepticon. He's a ballpoint pen, right? And he gets kicked out of the Decepticons, and he has to beat all of the Autobots by himself to prove himself to get back on the team, essentially. Which sounds pretty interesting, right? You can see this is by Brian Smitty Smith and Mars Jr. This is going to drop on July 9th, and it's $12.99. I could totally see myself on a random, extra cash field day where I never have extra cash, but sometimes I feel like I do. You know how that works.
Right. Yeah.
But grabbing this sounds pretty funny. So anyway, yeah, Transformers worst bot ever.
But it's a legitimate Transformers release. It's not like one of those funny.
Yes. Yeah.
So it said, I quickly looked it up to see what was going on. It said it's aimed at middle age grade readers. So I think it's a younger kids book.
Oh yeah. I read that too. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes sense in the fact that it's coming out in sort of like a trade, probably a longer form story aimed at,
Yeah.
What's a mid-age grade?
Kevin.
Did you say me? This is targeted at me. You might be right. Yeah. I remember that.
Middle grade readers.
So middle schoolers.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy about that comment? Well, and I'm not trying to insult every single comic book reader. Obviously, I'm one. Aren't all comics kind of that? I mean, like we aren't reading, Shakespearean novels here, as far as comics are concerned. I know. Anyway, I'm just being funny. But you get my point, though. It's like they're all pretty easy to read when it really comes down to it, So why do this should just be a kid's book, that kind of thing, or what's a mid-range reader, or whatever you said. You know what I'm saying?
So anyway, my next book is actually not for middle schoolers, and I had to do. It's Blood Type Number 1, written by Karina Becco and art by Andreas Sorrentino and Dave Stewart on colors. So this is out of the pages of Epitaphs from the Abyss. So I guess within that book, there's a character. Let me see if I can find her name. She's a female vampire. The fangs are coming out as EC's own vampire rises from her first appearance in EC Comics bestselling blockbuster anthology and into a history-making first ever standalone horror series from the most notorious name in terror. So I picked these covers because the A cover isn't safe for work. Well, it's just graphic,
Yeah.
A vampire. And then the B cover as well. So I'm like, you know what? I'll go with the 1 in 10 Albert Motley cover and the sketch cover.
Can't go wrong there.
Right.
Can't offend anybody with that sketch cover.
Yep. So yeah, it's just it's keeping in the EC. Who's putting these out? No, I can't remember.
What was the other one you said the character from this one comes from again?
Epitaphs from the Abyss.
Oh yeah, Epitaphs from the Abyss. Did you review one of those on the regular show yet?
I did not.
Oh.
Those are anthology books, and
right.
Mayo does the covers, the A covers, and they're phenomenal. Pretty horrific covers. So, and I wish I had gotten the 1 in 10. Some of them were a little more difficult to get. I think Albert Motley's been doing them all the new EC Oni Press books, and they're all they're all homages to classic horror books. Anyway, I'm getting it. I mean, Andrea Sorrentino, it's kind of like I got tired of his style a little bit. So we'll see how it looks.
Andrea Sorrentino, that's a boy?
Yeah. He's a guy. He's a full-grown man, Kevin.
Yeah.
He's no middle grade artist.
Yeah.
I've only ever known female Andreas. That's why I thought,
A lot of these guys are from like Europe, like Spain or Brazil and things like that.
Where that's a male, normal male name, whatever.
Yeah.
Typical male name, I should say.
Yeah. I'm not sure where he's from though. I'll look him up.
Anyway, you said these are homages too. Are you saying these covers are just homages to old classic horror books, or the stories are kind of homages themselves to old classic story or horror stories?
Well, the covers are homages. They're the 1 in 10s are. I think the stories initially they're kind of inspired by.
Okay.
They're trying to kind of bring all that back.
Is homage solely visual? Like, could you use the word homage when referencing it inspired by an old, like you just said, Mike? Is homage totally a visual description?
I don't know. Andrea Sorrentino, he's from Italy. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know.
What say you?
Give an example that's not art related, Kevin. I guess you could do an homage story, sort of in the
That's
same
what I mean.
way.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
So a public display of respect, honor, or allegiance, often towards someone or something of higher status. So there you go.
So it doesn't have to be just visual. It can be a story. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. We learn something new every day. You learned it here first. On the previous preview. Okay. All right, Pat, what you got?
I have a first from DC. This is the first in their line. They're calling these the work in progress line. This is a cheat because I think this just was announced yesterday because yesterday was Superman Day.
Yep.
And this doesn't come out till later in the year. But this is sort of like a single issue artist edition published at 11 by 17 based on the original artwork. And this is the first issue the first one they're doing is All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely. Like I said, 11 by 17 artist edition, $14.99 cover price, one issue only. So if you were ever, I talk about the artist editions a lot, and I will be today in the future. This is a good way to sample what those are sort of like, with only having to buy one issue and not the weighty $150 tome that I usually have. So I will definitely be picking this up. I'm curious to see what they are like. Yeah, it's a great story to do in this format. So check it out.
Very cool. Is it just me? Okay, so I just watched the video yesterday, and I like and laugh. I laugh emoji every time I see one of these. The Gen X joke about we can remember the lyrics. We can remember every lyric to a song from 1986, but I can't remember why I just came into this room. That kind of thing, right? Is it just me, or Superman Day new this year?
It's the first I'm hearing of it.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Okay, thank God. I saw the Superman Day stuff, and I was like, see, this is where I live. Okay, as far as on this show, I feel safe to make a fool of myself in front of you two.
Right.
Even though we've got 1 million viewers, they're not here right now. So I still feel comfortable making a fool of myself. But I wanted to ask in the Superman Day stuff, is this the first Superman Day, or is my memory just being like it typically is? But I was just worried about the backlash I'd get. So I'm not crazy though. Okay, so Superman Day is a new thing now apparently this year, right?
Superman Day celebration on June 12th began in 2013 with the release of Zack Snyder's Man of Steel.
Get out. Well, they're doing a terrible job of.
Where did you read that, Pat?
On the internet.
Okay, so at least I am crazy then, but we're all three crazy.
Yes, we're in good company.
Okay.
I never saw highlight. I actually I ordered this. They had a Superman Day 2025 Action Comics #1 Golden Age size facsimile. So,
oh wow,
facsimile, but it's Golden Age size, which is great because I have no Golden Age bags or boards.
Actually, this makes me excited because I have one Golden Age bag and board that I've been waiting to use.
I've got the perfect book for it.
Yeah. Well, I
just
just give it to you. Yeah. Wait, so let's just. I like what you said, Mike. That they're doing a horrible job of letting because everybody knows about Batman Day.
Yeah.
But they're doing a horrible job about getting Superman Day out there to the masses. Then, if it's been around for what's that, 11 years then, or 12 years?
Jeez.
All right. Okay. It's my turn again. Okay. So I've got. I actually have two of these. So I got Bring On the Bad Guys. Doom. This is a series of 7 villainous one-shots. We just talked about one-shots, I think, during the last previous preview that, man, just drives you nuts. But this is 7 villainous one-shots. And this one obviously is about Doom. There's a new artifact called the Soul Forge that can collect all the souls on Earth in one fell swoop, apparently. And Dr. Doom is stopping it from being used. So what, Doom's an anti-hero in this, I guess. I don't know. Who is Sister Sorrow? I don't know who Sister Sorrow is. That's actually a question, presented by the description of this book too. I'm not just saying that, but it's I guess a new character, and I wanted to share this because it's so awesome. I don't know who she is, but this is her, and she looks kind of familiar to me. This looks like it could be none other than Scarlet Witch and kind of hell it out or something. I don't know exactly, right? But this is a great cover, right?
Yeah, I mean, her face looks like they used what's her name? Olsen. What's her?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
it looks like they modeled it after her.
What's her name, Pat? Come on, this is you.
Olsen.
What's her first name? Elizabeth?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, Elizabeth.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, Scarlet Witch. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, apparently that's Sister Sorrow, new character. So this is going to be a key. Go ahead and grab it. While the getting's good.
Sister Sorrow first appeared in 2013 in DC's Man of Steel
You know,
movie by
yeah,
Zack Snyder.
don't even.
I thought you were going to say. Anyway, this is a Lee Bermejo cover. Of course, this is gorgeous. And then, of course, this one's gorgeous too. But this is by a Larix. I think you've mentioned him before, or her, maybe. I don't even know. But Larix cover, like one of them one-name artists.
Doesn't sound familiar. Looks really awesome. I like that a lot.
Yeah. And this drops on June 18th, $4.99 cover price.
There we go. All right. Next up, you guys are gonna want this. You're gonna want it. I just know you will. We've got Vanishing Point number 2, because I missed Vanishing Point number 1. But basically number 2 is about, in the Tomorrow family, witness a dark reimagining of the cartoon family of tomorrow living among the clouds and the future that might have been. It's an anthology series of short stories that are part science fiction, part existential horror, but an exceptional roster of artists tackling each tale. So I think each one's going to be written by Mark Russell. Let me see what Ryan. Yeah, I guess Juan Doe did issue number 1. I highlighted issue 1 there. Comes out May 7th. Issue number 2 is June 18th. So I really like the Jetsons cover. And it's a Robert Hack cover too. I like Robert Hack's work. So this sounds pretty good. I'm really into these anthology things right now.
Tell me about it. I think my last 2 reviews have been anthologies too. Me too, man.
It's like that's the thing right now. So I think I missed issue 1 because I like the Christian Ward cover, but it didn't really capture me. But when I saw the Robert Hack, I'm like, oh, the Jetsons. So that's what kind of caught my attention. And now I went back and pre-ordered them both. There we go.
All right.
So tune in. I'll probably review at least number 2.
Karen just texted me. That's why I was distracted. I'm sorry. I missed most of that review, Mike. Sorry about it.
That's right.
All right. Yeah, move on to Distillery. And now we're going to talk about some things that irk me. This is the collected edition of The Blood Brothers Mother. Talking about things we missed. There was a bump in the road a while back, and they canceled a bunch of Distillery orders and told you could reestablish those orders if you contacted your LCS or whatever. And I thought I did, but somehow I'm missing number 2, and I've been stuck ever since. I've never picked up number 2. I need to pick up number 2. But here we have the collected edition. I really liked number 1. This is by Brian Azzarello and Eduardo Riso. The artwork is great. It's phenomenal. It's a sort of we talked about the art of Eduardo Riso, the book, I think, in the last previews, and this is sort of like different for him because it's more painterly. It's very bright Western Southwest colors. So it is sort of out of the norm for him, but it works very well. And I enjoyed the first issue and the preview that was in the Devil's Cut. If you remember that, we'll talk about that in a second. This is here's where things get a little tricky on this one. This is the mass market hardcover coming in at a $35 retail price. Okay. But this is the Distillery shenanigans that I do not like at all. This is the direct market exclusive hardcover. This is a Dan Panosian cover. And it is coming in a retail of $75.
Get out.
I hate the way they do things with these direct market exclusives. There's a number of reasons why. The direct market exclusive has it's print to order, so they're not ever printing this one. It has a tip-in plate. No big deal. It includes the 5-issue story from the Devil's Cut.
Hmm.
It has a cover gallery and various miscellaneous behind the scenes preliminary sketches and so forth. They call it the back matter. But it irks me, that they're charging extra for that stuff and making it so exclusive. And this is another thing that irks me is the book is you can like Dan Penosian's covers all you want. I want the main artist on the cover of the collection here. And they say this is not final artwork. I think this was a variant for one of the individual issues. I don't know if they're using it as a placeholder or they're going to end up using it as the final, because even his cover here, I think is one of the regular covers from the series. But this is what they've been doing with their direct market, exclusive covers, versions, not covers, versions of the hardcover collections. To me, it's sort of a slap in the face to collectors, because why are they charging more than double? Usually, that's when you buy the hardcover to get the extra materials. They go the extra mile, and it's sort of like here you bought the individual issues already. We know you really love this. You're going to buy the collection. So here's everything we have all in one fell swoop, so you can have it all together
Right.
on the bookshelf. Not charge you more than double for it. So I really do not like the practices Distillery has set in place here for these collections.
How many books does this collect again?
4,
I
think. 5.
Yeah.
I'm messed up, like I said, because of
Right.
missing number 2 and never getting around to finishing the series.
Yeah.
But let's say, what'd you say, Mike? Sorry.
I remember when Pat mentioned that whole debacle with having to reorder and all this stuff.
Yeah, I remember that too.
I've always had Distillery's always kind of been. I have issue number 1. That's the only Distillery book I have, and it's just I avoid them, and I think it's the oversized, which I get it. The artwork's presented nicely, but I don't know. It's just something about I like the creators, but it's weird.
Well, I was gonna say, just kind of doing some math on, what were these? Oh, since they're oversized, they were probably $9.99, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
$8.99. So $9. Yeah. 9 times 4, 36. Hardcover's 35.
Well, maybe that has something to do with it, with why. And I'm not defending them by any stretch. I'm just saying, let's say hypothetically the cheaper, smaller version is it doesn't exist, and only the 75 or whatever you said the other one was, that collect everything like you wanted. Would you consider that a fair price for this? If it collects 5 books, that's $50 if you bought them individually, then plus all the extra. Would you consider that 79 or whatever a fair price? Like, what would you consider a price that you think would be reasonable for everything, that you're talking that you wanted, but just that existing rather than both of these, which is, like you said, kind of annoying. But
yeah, I wouldn't probably bat an eye to if they charged 45 instead of 35 or the 75.
Yeah.
But 75 seems like a money grab to me.
Right. Yeah.
And that's unfortunately something else Distillery has going against it in my eyes, is they sort of like always hype up like limited numbers and sort of marketing to a collecting community that has already been burned before, and we've thought learned their lesson, and they don't really try to market that way so much anymore. They do sometimes, but hyping it up is buy this $75 collection and your child's education is paid for. That's sort of the vibe you get from them sometimes, and I don't like it.
Gotcha. All right. That sucks. I know you, and Mike, you were the same way at the beginning too. Both of you were really hyped for Distillery, so that's annoying. Yeah. Even for me, it never was really hyped up for it at all. I was I can appreciate your.
A lot of
annoying.
great creative teams, you know, talented people working on the books there. But yeah.
All right, so this is so. Are you gonna grab this? Are you gonna grab the? Are you not gonna grab the $35 one then, Fat?
No.
Because of it.
Yeah.
Well, at least people know they can make their own decisions. Anyway,
Yep.
here's something that I like to make sure people know about. Marvel Rivals. So first of all, I want to point this out too. You know, I'm totally a self-deprecating kind of guy too. So I wanted to point this out, Mike. You know, the time before the last regular show,
Mhm.
you had Rivals #1 in the pick 3, and the very next show I was talking about why didn't you have a Rivals on the pick 3?
Right.
Did you guys remember that at the time, or?
Yeah, I think Pat even mentioned it. It was the Psylocke.
The J. Scott Campbell one, yeah. Anyway, so this one's kind of odd to me. So this is Marvel Rivals Ignite. Peach Momoko writes this. Is that a thing? Like, has Peach ever written anything before?
She's
Yes.
doing Ultimate X-Men. And
Oh
she's
yeah,
done
I
other,
actually read that too. Yeah.
she's done other things in the past too.
Yeah.
Oh, she has. I didn't know that. Okay, so I don't really like this cover very much.
Nope.
But there's another cover. This isn't actually Peach either. This is Yugi Kaku.
I was gonna say this doesn't look like Peach.
Yeah.
She's writing.
Yeah, there's a Peach cover that they actually did show in the solicitation for this that I also didn't like. I actually like this one better than Peach's cover.
Right.
And there's 3 other covers that they didn't show pictures of, at least in the previews guide. You know, maybe you could find them on the internet or whatever, but yeah, I don't know what cover I want, but I haven't seen one that I like yet. So, and the other thing too is this is Marvel Rivals Ignite. This is not to be confused with Marvel Rivals.
Right.
And it doesn't say Ignite on the cover.
The heck.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So anybody over there at Marvel know what they're doing.
Right. And this is an anthology too. Speaking of that, Mike, just talking about that. Okay. This has Psy taking on Venom, the Punisher fighting Penny Parker, and then another story with Luna Snow fighting Loki and Asgard or something. So it's a bunch of I love the idea of this. I actually don't know. I haven't grabbed my Rivals yet. We talked about it a couple times already. I haven't been to the store since Rival dropped. I sure hope they're still in my box, but I don't know what the regular Rivals title, if that was an ongoing story or maybe an anthology too. I don't know. But with this Ignite, I'm excited because I've mentioned this to you guys a million times whenever I talk about one of the things that's so great about me or for me when I play the game is that it just in my comic book history life head, you know, I'm just imagine these scenarios as Rivals the video game is playing out, you know. So, and they're obviously short stories if they are a story at all. So this being an anthology with short stories like that, that's what I kind of imagine that if this is done well, I love it.
I love it.
You love it so much, you know. So anyway, this drops on June 11th with a $5.99 cover price.
Jeez. It's a lot of money nowadays.
Man, this cover is just a mess, though, right? There's
It
like
is.
Kind of, yeah.
It is. I'm not a fan of it.
it's hard. It's hard to see much unless you focus on one point. Yeah. So
And that sucks if you don't like any of the covers for them.
yeah, imagine that. Yeah, right. I hope one of the other ones I haven't seen yet makes
luck.
it for me. Yeah, right. Thanks.
All right. I love this next cover for this next one. Death of the Silver Surfer number 1 of a 5-issue miniseries. Dyke Ruin. I'm not sure if I'm saying his name correctly. Did this A cover. It's fantastic. So I might get it just based on this. So Silver Surfer's final voyage. That's a question. The Silver Surfer returns to a war ravaged Earth, but Norrin has a galaxy-sized target on his back. A new enemy will stop at nothing to steal away everything the Surfer is or ever will be. If the Surfer falls, who then wields the awesome power cosmic? Written by Greg Pak, art by Sumit Kumar. I really love this A cover.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then not saying that the red board like helped me put the red line on my thing this week. Right there. Then we've got the Joe Quesada cover, Ron Lim foil cover, which I might look pretty cool.
Yeah.
Foil cover. And then the Nick Bradshaw 1 in 25, and then John Romita Jr. 1 in 50 hidden gem.
No, get that 1 in 50 JRJ out of my face. The landscape covers just drive me bonkers.
Right.
Like,
It looks
even
great.
if I love them, I can't stand.
Yeah, I have a couple landscape covers and I don't like them at all.
Yeah.
But this it's great artwork. I love them.
Yeah. Do you not like the art, or do you not like them because they're landscape?
I don't like them because they're landscape. I have them because of the art.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So
I just like them because of
yeah.
I think that one works because he's a Silver Surfer. He could fly in any way he wants,
So okay. Oh, that's actually a fair point.
Oh, it is. Kind of
That's
like
a
it
good
a little bit more now. He's coming in.
So it actually could. So what you're saying, Pat, is it's not a landscape cover. It's just Silver Surfer flying at
Yeah.
it sideways. Got it.
Right. Yeah.
I like
So-
that, Pat. Thank you.
Well, it's a 1 in 50, so I'll never own it.
Right. Yeah. It's a 1 in 50 hidden gem. It's not going to be one I get anyway. Right.
But
yeah, all those covers are pretty good though.
yeah, but I'm definitely going to pick that one because that looks fantastic. And I haven't read a Silver Surfer book in ages.
Yeah.
Well, there's also a Trad Moore variant, which I couldn't find a picture of yet. And he did the Silver Surfer Black book. But he's got his style is kind of not for everybody. I think it was fantastic. So I'm interested to see what his cover looks like. So there you go. The death of the Silver Surfer.
Awesome.
I don't think he dies.
No, I hope he's okay. Sticking with Distillery, we have a new number 1. That is White House Robot Romance.
What? Come on.
I'm gonna have to rethink where I get my picks next time because I'm getting a lot of blurry picks, and I apologize for that.
Oh, this one looks clear as a bell to us or to me. Oh no, I'm actually I zoomed in. It is blurry. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Written by Chip Zdarsky and art by Rachel Stott, who I recognize the name, but I don't think I've ever purchased any of her work. But she did this cover also, and I think it's an awesome cover. Her robot work looks very nice. And there is a few interior pages in the previews that you can look over. The only thing that sort of nagged me about that is the lettering is like, well, maybe it does make sense because it looks like it's almost like computer lettering. And that kind of makes sense for robots, I guess, now that I'm putting 2 and 2 together. But it just looks weird. This is about these 2 robots. One is a Secret Service robot, and the other is a chef robot. And the chef robot finds out that the Secret Service robot is being decommissioned, and we find out that maybe these robots have feelings for each other. Well, there's a romance going on in the title, so I guess that is what's going on. All against the backdrop of a possible war between Canada and the United States, always popular these days. So that's cover A by Rachel Stott. Here's cover B by Jill Thompson. Sort of almost the same looking cover in a way. Also blurry as heck. So
Yeah.
sorry about that. Yeah, so I am most likely going to pick this up because of the writer and the artist work that I've seen so far. It just has me intrigued. So it's
Yeah.
a four issue series, I believe. $8.99 cover price, typical for the regular distillery issues. So yeah, I'll probably be picking up the individual issues, but not the collected edition
Right.
a couple months down the road. Sorry.
Now, Mike, what were we talking about earlier with the claim of an original story you've never heard before, or whatever? Now
Oh, yeah.
this sounds like an
Yeah,
original
News from
story
the
you never.
Fallout. Right. Yeah, this one I haven't heard before. News from the Fallout, maybe.
Right. And what's kind of doubly interesting, aside from the story, and I agree, this cover is awesome. I like the other cover a lot too. I don't know which one I actually like better, but are the robots? So like what's they obviously have them in some kind of romantic. She, it is getting ready to kiss the other it. I don't. But that's a ball of glass.
Yeah.
Yes, that's interesting. So yeah, I can totally see this being something that I would love to hear about. I don't know if I'd have to have a lot of extra cash to grab this one, but I'm very interested to hear once you read it a review, Pat. So
Okay.
all right, up next for me, I have, where's it at? I'm going to skip that one because I think that may be one that didn't download. Yeah. Please, this one. No, okay. I'm just going to go with the next one that is here. Star Wars Jedi Knights. This again, I've missed. This is number 4. This is written by Mark Guggenheim with art by Madabek Musabekov. This cover is by Raza.
Hey, there he is.
And it's awesome.
It is nice. I do like this cover, yeah.
And these are definitely, arguably, in my top 10 favorite characters of all Star Wars. This is one of my favorite side Jedis, Shakti. And, of course, Qui-Gon, with a special guest appearance by Jango Fett. This just describes it as the galaxy chase to end all chases. And it stars Aura Singh, Zam Wesell, Bane Millar, and then, of course, the 3 that are on the cover here. So there's a whole awesome cast of characters that, man, it's like someone's like, well, who's your top 10 favorite Star Wars characters, Kevin? I'm going to write a book about it. This is where I'm at with that. I'm with this, so I'm sad. I didn't notice this before, although I guess probably issue 2 is coming out this month then, because this is issue 4. So, but like I said, Star Wars Jedi Knights, definitely want to grab this. So
That's good. This is my last one because I just couldn't find a whole lot to get excited about. But this one I'm really looking forward to. Robin and Batman, Jason Todd, number 1 of 3. So Batman has a new Robin, a rash, impulsive, reckless kid with a troubled past who Batman was certain he could mold into Gotham's next crime fighter. Let's see. And what it's solicited here, it says, and when a mysterious new villain sets his sights on Jason, Batman finds himself doubtful. So this is going back. What new villain? Is it new to us or is it new from this time period? That's my question.
Right.
So this is 3 issues. These are done in prestige format. Well, the first 3 were when it covered when it was Robin and Batman. It was Dick Grayson. So Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen teaming up on these. Their work together is fantastic. I think they're one of the best teams out there. So there's the Dustin Nguyen A cover, the Jeff Lemire cover, which I'm not a fan of. I like Jeff's artwork. Sometimes it's just a little too much for me, and so I'm not a fan of that one. Then we've got the Raphael Albuquerque. I think I misspelled his name. That one's okay. I usually like his work. That one's it's okay. And I definitely am not a fan of the John McCrea 1 in 25. Familiar with his work, and I don't like that one. But I'm definitely picking this up because the first one with Dick Grayson was really, really good. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, the first one I bought, I didn't buy the individuals. I just got the hardcover when it was collected, and then I really liked it.
Yep. So great team. I imagine this is going to be well done too.
Yeah, this is a crossover for me, and I almost didn't even put it on my list because I'm like, Mike's definitely going to have this. But yeah, man, I can't. I love that Dustin Nguyen cover, but yeah, I can't stand that Jeff Lemire. That's I don't like my Batman black hammerized, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I know that's Jeff Lemire and everything, but you know.
The only thing I don't like about that Lemire cover is Nightwing. I like everything else looks fine. Just
You
looks
like the Batman too?
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
looks like Nightwing needs to wash his hair or something.
Yeah, he does look low.
Conditioner or something. I don't know.
Yeah, the only thing I like about the Lemire is the Robin's okay.
And then, so is the Cuckoo I was just looking at that Lemire.
Yeah, it must be.
Oh yeah, the Cuckoo.
The Cuckoo. Oh no, there's a mystery star. I don't know, but there's action and thrills. That's what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Right.
So there you go. Pick it up.
All right, moving on to Image Comics solicitations for me. This is, Scott Dunbier, used to work for IDW. He was sort of the brainchild behind the artist editions. I don't think sort of, I think he was. And he left IDW to form his own company, Act 4. But now I guess we're finding out that his books are going to come out through Image. And this is Darwin Cook's The Complete Spirit Connoisseur Edition hardcover. This is 324 pages, retailing at $100. This collects the Spirit 1 through 6, 8 through 12, and the Batman Spirit one shot. So if you're a big Darwin Cook fan, and you should be if you're not, and you like the Spirit, kind of lukewarm on the Spirit. This wasn't my favorite thing Darwin Cook was involved with, but nice to have it all in one book here. So check it out if you haven't.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not a big fan of the Spirit, but I like Darwin Cook's his work. And that's a pricey for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the Spirit whatsoever to even have an opinion. I've always thought he's been kind of a normal kind of dude. What's his what's his abilities?
He can wear a trench coat and a hat.
Is he like a detective? So he's just a detective. He's like,
does he have power?
He's like Dick Tracy.
Yeah, sort of like Dick Tracy, I guess, maybe. But yeah, supernatural stuff and involvements.
Gotcha. All right. Next up for me is Star Wars. I'm not too far behind on this. This is issue number 2. I didn't even know it rebooted again. Did you know, Pat?
Yeah, I just actually went through a marathon session of getting the last volume finished.
Oh yeah. That's well, that was only 50 in that, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
I mean, come on now. Why didn't we just continue anyway? So
because this is sorry, Cam, because this is post Return of the Jedi.
Oh, okay. So
They've rebooted it. They've rebooted every time.
Oh, okay. All right. So this is written by Alex Segura with art by Phil Noto. This is a Lionel Yu cover. Yeah, this is the post Return of the Jedi era. And then it just says, as a teaser for this issue, I'm assuming this happened in issue 1, but what did the Najai, whatever, pilot tell Luke? And what is the crown of Verity? I'm sure we were teased with those things in issue 1, so I haven't missed this at all. Hey, with my DCBS, I can still add issue 1 to it, right?
Sometimes
add, right?
If it's still within the solicitation month, I think the 26th is usually the cutoff for removing books.
Right.
But you can still add usually until like the end, until the new catalog, or until it revolves to the new ones.
Gotcha. Okay, so and then the cool thing about this too, Mike, this might be appealing to you as well, is there's a winter planet called Gadrilem. Guess this is a new planet. What tragedy awaits Luke on the winter planet of Gadrilem? This drops on June 11th. $3.99 cover price. I love this cover too. So you can imagine there's a few covers.
Yeah, I like the cover. Yeah, a few. Probably like 20.
Yeah.
I'm
glad it's back though, because I was man, that was like a while. That was a big break since the last volume ended, wasn't it, Pat? It was like 6 months or something, right?
not for me because I just finished reading.
Right, but I think when it actually released though. Anyway, I think it was a while. Seemed like a while because I've been wondering
Yeah.
a main Star Wars style, So anyway.
You done, Mike?
Mike,
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, I'm done.
did you have any covers or any bonus anything? Just that's it, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Sticking with Image for me, this is an artist edition. This is Jim Apparo's DC Classics artist edition. This is $150, 216 pages. It collects 5 Batman stories and 5 Spectre stories. So, and you can choose between the Batman cover or the Spectre cover. So there you go.
Yeah, that's a nice one. I grab that Batman cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are really cool. Yeah.
I'd probably go for the Batman cover myself if I had extra $150 to spend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I like Jim Apparo's Batman.
I do too.
All right, my last one. You still got another one after this, right, Pat?
A couple, yeah.
Nice. Well, this is my last book I'd grab. Then I got a bunch of other covers.
Okay.
So this is Space Ghost Annual, which, man, every time just flies by. Right, Mike?
Yeah.
There's been 12 issues of Space Ghost out already. Right, I don't know if they're all released yet, but there's been 12 issues of Space Ghost solicited.
Yeah, I remember highlighting issue 1.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't it seem like Space Ghost just came back like 4 months ago, right, Pat?
Yeah. Yep.
But anyway, so yeah, there's 12 issues. So this is the first annual, and Space Ghost and his crew must find a way to break the dominion of Tempest, the Time Master. This is 28 pages. This is an awesome Matina cover. I love this cover. Very cool. This drops June 11th, $5.99 cover price. And since I wanted to get Space Ghost, didn't happen, and there's 12 out already. So I figure this is a great jumping in point, if you're going to try to just check it out to see if you like it, first of all, before you invest in or try to spend the time tracking down the other 12 issues. I don't know if it'd be hard or not, but yeah, I definitely would be interested in catching this annual to have a totally separate story. So,
Yeah, very good.
Isn't that a cool cover? What do you guys think of that cover?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's good. Yeah.
What?
No, I was saying Matina was doing all the DC stuff, and then they fired him, and now he's over at Dynamite.
Yeah, that's a whole nother show.
Yeah.
All right, what you got, Pat?
I'm going to stick with artist editions. We're going to move over to IDW, and we have Jack Kirby's Mr. Miracle artist edition. Also $150. 192 pages, collects issues 2 through 3 and 5 through 9 of nearly complete stories. And what that probably means is they couldn't get the original art pages for some of them. A lot of times they'll try to recreate those if they can to, if there's like 1 or 2 pages missing. It seems unfortunate to me that number 1's not here. So number 1 must be, the pages must not exist, or too many of them don't exist that they didn't even bother to attempt trying to patch and paste them together. So this, I think I should have got specs on this, but I believe when Kirby was doing this, he was working on this. This is artisans are usually huge anyway, but I think Jack in this era worked on even bigger sized artboard. So I think this is even a bigger artist edition than usual. But I don't quote me on that. So yeah, if you're a big Jack Kirby fan, want to see some of what his original artwork look like, here you go, Mr. Miracle. Probably, well, not probably. He's my favorite of Jack Kirby's New Gods creations. Well, big Barda too. So
you started to not say it confidently, and then you said it confidently, and then you not said it confidently. Hey, so I got some questions. I've always wondered this about Artist Edition anyway, okay? So what we're going to see in this book is the original art of whatever's in the Artist Edition, right?
Yes.
Isn't the final art that's submitted for the book the original art? Isn't there original art of the final art that was submitted for the book anyway? You see where I'm getting at the confusion here? So there's original art, right? And then there's or clarify this for me. There's original art, then there's the final art that's submitted that's going to be printed for the book. Those are two separate things, right?
I'm not sure what you mean by final art.
Like what was actually print? I think, are these in black and white? Are these before the color was added?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is just Jack's pencils and inks.
Yep. And if it depending on the time period, the word balloons as well.
Okay.
So that's what I'm getting at. So we're talking about this one in particular, but I'm just talking about artist editions in general. So artist editions are the original art of just the artist, unless what happens if the artist is whoever penciled it is also the inker and also the colorer, then it would you see what I'm saying? I mean, like,
yeah, the coloring is hardly ever done on the original art.
Okay. And then these books are just pictures. I mean, obviously, because the original art would obviously be much more, So these are just literal pictures of the original art before it was submitted for then the coloring and the finishing, the all the other things that need to be added before it's printed for the book.
Yeah, well, the coloring would be the only thing.
The coloring would be the only thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So even if someone has an inker,
mm-hmm.
then the original art would
Yes, because back, especially in Jack Kirby's day,
there was no inkers. Right.
there was, but modern day, a lot of times the penciler will send the original art to the inker digitally, and he can ink it. And sometimes there actually ends up with two versions, the inked version and the penciled version. But back in this day, that was not the case. They would hand it off to the inker, and that is the original art.
Okay.
Then they would hand it off to the letterer who would paste up the lettering, and that should all in this case definitely would be in the Mr. Miracle version here, because that's how they did things back in the day. Now it's digital, so
yeah. I don't own any artist edition. Do you own a bunch of these?
yeah.
Pat? Do you own
Mhm.
any, Mike?
I do not. No.
Man, I need to check yours. Hey, Pat, can you bring them when you come down on the 3rd? Can you bring one with you? Just one random one.
Yeah.
You know? Any will do. You know, so I can check it out in person. Because I don't think I've even held one. You know, so
I do have
look through it. You know,
I have a couple copies. I think I've got a one of the Kuberts, Andy or Adam, I can't remember which one, and a Jim Lee one where it's just the pencils and stuff. It's all pencils. I don't even think there are inks in there. I can't remember what they're called. They're hardcover. Continue. Sorry.
well, that's like anyway. So I won't be getting this, but I'm definitely I guess this is because it's, and I agree with you, Pat, that my favorite of the New Gods is Mr. Miracle by far. That's not even a question for me with Big Bart either. So this one piques my interest in seeing that stuff. But all right, so Pat, you had one more.
I have 3 more.
You said 11. You've got 12 then. Daggone.
I don't know.
All right, cool. Go ahead. Because I just have bonus covers I wanted to look at now, but I want to get through all yours first. Go ahead.
For Marvel, moving over to Marvel, we have the She-Hulk by Rainbow Rowell omnibus. Mainly the artist here is Andres Genile. This collects 1 through 15 and Sensational 1 through 10. This is 600 pages, coming in at $100 retail. 2 different covers. Jen Bartel cover, who was one of the main series cover artists, and we also have a Peach Momoko cover.
I think that's a good peach. You
Yeah,
like that peach, Mike?
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
Oh, Pat, what were you going to say? Sorry.
I like it too, but I would go for the Jen Bartel cover.
Yeah.
As I've talked about in my reviews of the series as it was ongoing, I think this was sort of derided, but I think overlooked series. Especially, I think I've commented times before that if you're a fan of manga, this is right up your alley, because that's what it reminded me of. Not necessarily the art style, but the writing style. So yeah, it was really enjoyable for me. And this is one of the ones I'm not going to pre-order this, but man, if this ended up at my neighborhood Ollie's, I'd be stocking the stores to try to find this one for sure.
So you're telling us to swing by Ollie's for you?
In a couple years, yeah. Man, a quick Ollie story. I showed that I found the Scott Pilgrim box sets. Man, I'm kicking myself now. I'm like, damn, I should have picked those up. Especially because Valor, he read my color versions, and he's like, why didn't you get that for me? I'm like, because it was $50 and I didn't know. And so I actually visited another Ollie's, and I said to myself, if I find it here, I'm gonna buy the color box set. And they had the black and white box set only. I went back to my store the next day, and they were both gone. So
what were those originally? Those were a couple $100.
Yeah, $250.
Yeah. That reminds me of when I found that Captain America big hard slip case. Yeah. I mean, $50 is a lot, but when it's for something that was originally $250, that's a deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you want me to keep going, Kevin?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
From Titan, I have Return to Skull Island, and the reason I picked this book is because of the preview art. This is by Simon Furman. His big claim to fame was he's a prolific Transformers writer. And the art here is by Chris Jones, and that's the reason and he did this cover, and that's the reason I picked this, because they showed a couple preview pages, and what really impressed me, and you sort of see it here on this cover, but you could definitely see it in the interior pages, was his sense of scale. He has a very good artistic sense of scale, and it comes off well on the page, which is something a lot of times with these kind of properties, it doesn't seem to translate. See my Godzilla versus Fantastic Four review from the main show last week.
Right.
It gives you, like I said, just you can definitely, there's a sense of awe and scale to his artwork, and you can kind of see it. This is, I guess, based on the Netflix Skull Island. It's a prequel or a sequel to the Netflix Skull Island show, which I have not watched, not familiar with. But it's in that MonsterVerse, I guess, continuity. Don't know if I'll pick this up, but it certainly has me intrigued. So yeah, if you want some big monkey action, there you go.
What was this Samuel L. Jackson Kong movie? What was that called?
Skull Island.
Skull
Right?
Island. Yeah.
So there was Skull Island, the movie.
Kong Skull Island. Kong Skull Island.
Oh, Kong Skull Island. That's right.
Yeah.
And then there was a Netflix cartoon. I didn't even know about that. Did you know about that, Mike?
Yeah.
Huh. Did you watch it?
No.
No.
And
I
that's
was
why I
surprised.
hadn't passed on this, because I knew that it was tied to it. I'm like, well, I'm not watching that, so I'm not going to get.
Well, it's a prequel.
Right.
So you don't need the. Didn't you say that prequel, right, Pat?
It's a pre or C, and I'm not sure.
Oh,
It's part of that.
Yeah, continuity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was surprised you did. Yeah, as soon as I saw this, I was like, "Oh, Mike's gonna have that one." So
Yeah, I saw it and I was like, "Oh, look at this!" And I started reading, like, "Well, it's part of that." So, and I'm not watching that, so I just.
Well, just watch the cartoon then, Mike.
But I'm
Just
not
put it on your list.
It's a long list.
But
It's really long.
yeah, I love the way this looked, though. That's for sure. That's cool. And I appreciate the way you describe why I like the way this looked when I didn't even know that that's why I like the way this looked, Pat. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. I can finish it off with my last one from Titan.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
I got one last question.
Yeah,
Is that a fox in the front?
I have to defer to the expert.
Yeah,
If that was a fox, Mike, you couldn't turn this away.
right. It's definitely not a fox.
He looks like he could be rabid, though.
Actually, I didn't even realize there's a lady riding it.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that. I just zoomed in and I was like, wait, there's a lady riding that fox. But this is what a fox looks like when it becomes deformed. Like all the other Skull Island deformities, Mike. This is it. This is the deformed fox.
That looks like a pug on steroids.
Yeah, his snout doesn't quite look foxy enough.
Yeah.
It's coming at you. If you saw it sideways, it would be longer. Yeah.
It's not.
Anyway, okay, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Little side joke.
Yeah, exactly. Also from Titan, my last one. This is on the cover of previews this month. This is Yan, Volume 1 by Chang Shen. This is a Taiwanese manga. I think they say manga in Taiwan, so I'm okay there. This is 352 pages. There are 3 volumes of this, so it's coming in at $24.99 retail. The artwork just impressed me. They had some preview pages, and it's about a woman who was accused of murdering her family and sent to prison, and where she apparently died, but she's mysteriously back and seeking revenge on the people who actually did kill her family. So it's a revenge story, and the artwork looks really cool. And if it's only 3 volumes, I may just pick this up. So
I was gonna order this for Cora, but then I kind of read. I think it was more adult themed. So I was like, so I took it off my order.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it does look fantastic.
Yeah, it does look really good. That cover at least.
Yep.
All right, so that's it for you, Pat.
Yep.
Did you have any bonuses too, or is that
Nope.
just it?
That was it.
All right, the bonuses I have, and these are just for the covers, is first of all this Batman 161 Gabriel Dell'Otto connecting cover. Hush, of course, is in the main guy there, but I couldn't for the life of me find the connecting cover.
I've seen a couple of them.
If you go back a couple preview shows, I connected them all.
Oh, that's right, you did. That's what I was going to ask next. Is did you show these before? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I highlighted these and I shared the Dell'Otto's Instagram page where he actually had the original painting
all together, right? Okay, gotcha. Okay, I knew I saw it somewhere else. Sorry, Mike. Yeah,
that's right.
All right, then I've got this one I thought was really cool. This David Nakayama Harley Quinn 52 cover. Isn't that awesome? Check it out. I mean, obviously, it's just awesome in general, but then the whole, the what's that called? The whole depth thing, where you're looking at it. Imagine doing that.
It's a nice cheat he did with her finger on there. That's pretty good.
Yeah, right. Yeah, to cover it so it doesn't go on forever, right? Yeah.
Cool.
But isn't that cool?
Yeah.
And then Art Germ's back on Supergirl. This is another one, Mike. I was thinking, did you show these?
Just issue 1.
Okay. So this is issue 2. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. That's awesome. Right, Pat?
It's better than the one I saw. I don't know if it was number 1 or number 3. I was thinking, man, he's putting the girl in Supergirl. She looks like she's about 10 years old. Not this one though. Not this one. I like this one.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then lastly, I've got this. This is a bonus for somebody that I wouldn't be grabbing this, but my daughter, I think, definitely would. Ayla, Hawkeye's one of her favorites. And this is the Old Man Hawkeye, the complete collection. Drops on August 6th. And this is $34.99. But yeah, she would love that. So I just thought I'd put that in there as well.
Yeah.
All right, that's it then.
That's it. That's where you spend your money.
Great job. A lot of good stuff, man. I was so happy to hear that you had 11 or 12. I think I'm gonna argue 12, Pat. Especially on it. This is why the three of us work out so well. Because sometimes one of us is saying, "Oh, it's super simple this week. This is great week," and then another one, while another one is saying, "I don't know," it changes. But we got everybody covered with all three of us, right, Mike?
Exactly. We cover everybody's taste.
Yeah.
That way, ours cross over just enough. And we stem off onto our crazy business.
Yeah. All right, so that'll do it. So please like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell to get notifications of everything we do, and then you can check out our next live stream is Cover Combat 11 Pick 3 edition, round 6. This is the finals happening tomorrow, Monday, April 21st at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Getting down to the nitty gritty with Cover Combat. And then lastly, join us for our next regular live. Oh, no, that's not right. Join us for our next regular live stream, which will be next Saturday. I don't have a banner for it though, because no scroll for that. But that's next Saturday. Right, Pat?
26th.
26th, yeah.
Yep.
All right, Mike, did you have anything else?
I did not. Just, thanks for tuning in.
Pat, do you have anything?
Nope.
All right, awesome. So that'll do it. Yeah, thank you very much for checking out what we have to offer, and hopefully we helped you be aware of something you may not have been aware of prior. And until next time, don't forget that knowing what will be released in 2 to 3 months is awesome. And watching what your favorite live streamers will order is a lot of fun. So why not watch the preview by Xcellar Comics and do both? Xcellar out.